So I just wanted to show off a few of the features of Bitpaper, which we can use as basically like a digital whiteboard for our classrooms. So I'm going to go to bitpaper.io. On this screen, you just click Create Paper. You can give the paper a name. And this, I'll name it after a certain class. Like I'll call this MAT 271 500. Okay, this will give you a tutorial. If you don't want to view the tutorial, you can click this Don't Show Again. Then you can click Close. Otherwise, you can click Next. It'll go through a few steps with you. And now you get started right away with a pen. Hey, okay. With this pen, I'll get to that in a second. So, with this pen, you can now click on this color palette right next to the pen icon. And you can choose from a number of colors. You can even choose from anything on this grid if you click on the plus button there. I'll go with red. You can change, so now my marker is red. Hey. You can change the size of the marker. So if I wanted to make something very large, I could just increase, again, this size thing. So you can see how large the tip of the marker will be whenever you scroll across here. There's a little preview. You also have an adjustment for the size of the eraser. May be a little bit hard to see, but you can make your eraser very large so that whenever I choose the eraser tool, now it's easier to erase this large text that I wrote. Let's see. You can click on this just mouse pointer. This will allow you to click and drag and grab things that you wrote. So if you want to write something, let's say you're writing an equation. Oh, I need to turn the size of my marker down a little bit. Let's say you're writing an equation, for instance. Maybe you're writing it over here. And you realize that you're not going to have enough room to finish writing it. You don't have to erase it and rewrite it. You can just grab this cursor, select all of this, and then move it over here. Then click back on the pen and finish writing. I'm not sure what I was going to write. There we go. I guess I said this was an equation. It needs to be equal to something. So that's the super basic stuff. You have this ruler button, this tiny ruler button right above the pen. It's like a superscript to the pen. That allows you to just draw straight lines. So if you wanted to draw, let's see, is there a shape button? There's also a shape button. But if you wanted to draw just a straight line, let's say we're going to make a graph or something, and it gives you what looks like an angle measure. It's kind of hard to see because it's very tiny, but it gives you an angle measure as you're dragging this around. So you can even draw things that are perfectly perpendicular to one another. So now this may make drawing a graph easier, for instance, if you can draw your axes perfectly. We have a pan button. What does this pan button do? Okay, the pan button just moves the entire sheet whenever you click on it and you click on the sheet. There are also shapes that you can experiment with. We have arrows. When you click this little, it's almost like a refresh icon. You get a number of shapes that you can choose from. I don't know how many of us will put like you know, a rabbit on our Bitpaper, but it may be useful for something. Maybe you're doing some rabbits and sheep problems in dynamical systems or something. You also have this text box. If you just want to be able to type some text, you can click on this uppercase T, click anywhere here. You have a limited number of symbols you can choose from here. You can increase or decrease the size of the text, and you can just type. And the color of the text is going to correspond to the color of whatever your pen is. So if I choose a different one, I guess the last few features we can go through, you can also add another page. So this is just a new blank page. I created this page by just clicking on this down arrow underneath the one in the top right corner. You can add a whole bunch of pages if you want. You can even prepare some of these in advance, for instance. Whenever you click on one of these pages, you get this menu on the side. You can just delete the entire page if you like. You can duplicate the page. So if I duplicate the page, now page, it created a new page that is the same as page 1. I can click on the trash can to delete it. I can reorganize the pages using these arrows. So if I want to move this down in the order, I can just click the move down button. Now my first page is blank, and the original page I started with is the 4th page. We also have the ability to add in some images. Oh, we have backgrounds and grids. I haven't gotten to that. Let's see. Oh, okay. We can, where's this? A big thing that we might want to do is we might want to share this. Maybe you want for students to work on something. Maybe you're using like the breakout group functionality or something in Blackboard. If you click on this collaborate button, just the person with the plus sign in the bottom left corner, that gives you a link that you can just copy and paste to your students. If we want to add an image, I think we just go to upload file here. I don't have any files uploaded here yet. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to drag this WebAssign problem over. Let's choose one we can maybe do easily here. So let's look at question 4 here. So in order to create an image, if you're not familiar with how to take a good screenshot of a problem, a lot of people like to use the print screen button and then MS Paint. What's actually a little bit easier is if you open up the snipping tool in Windows. Now the snipping tool, you can choose a mode. I'm going to choose this rectangular snip. And then I'm just going to click and drag the problem. You don't even need that much of it. I can just choose this much. Now I'm going to save this as an image on my computer. I'm just going to call this calculus problem. I can now go to upload files here. This was saved in pictures, and I'm going to choose calculus problem. And my calculus problem was uploaded, and it was placed in the middle of my page. You can now make this larger if you want. Or you can shrink it. You can rotate it even. Okay. And I think that's... there are also some more advanced features you can access if you have an account. You can save your papers, or you can create a PDF of this, which some of us might find useful. But for now, that's about... also, if you wrote something, but you want to undo it, you can either hit Control-Z, or you can click this button in the bottom right-hand corner, just the back button. If you want to redo something, you can either hit Control-X or hit this redo button. So you can undo and redo. And with that, I think that's basically all of the major features. So I think that we are done here.